Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I am going to compete in this hourly rapid arena. It's a 2-hour event, just shy of 2 hours.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
I should probably change that audio setting.
2,
1. Alright. Little countdown there. So this is 10-0. Let's start with D4 and see if we have an accepted, declined approach. Okay. Let's put this knight here. I like going with the king knight instead of the queen knight in this case, because an early knight on c6 may run into variations where they take in b5, b4 with tempo on the knight. So this move tells me maybe black is keeping this option open for a Stonewall Dutch. And also they may be hinting at grabbing this pawn and hanging on to it. So I'm going to opt for queen c2. Yeah, they are going for this Dutch. I didn't want to play any position where I have to show compensation for being down a pawn. So this is the big hole now, so I'm going to key in on that. Make sure this guy is out and about prior to e3. And before I mask my queen from seeing this directly, I want to make sure my bishop is there. And my usual reply to this move is, well, when this pawn is set back, normally I will drop back to g3, but in cases like this where black has a hole on e5, I'm perfectly fine if they go ahead and capture on f4. And I'm already getting the sense that white stands really well in this position because of this because of this greater grip on e5 and this half-open file, and the fact that I have this better bishop. I think these things are all really tipping in my favor. The fact that these guys are doubled, I don't believe is seen as a liability. So I'm going to play here. These are the two big squares in the position, e4 and e5. Let's castle. The main difference between the two is that this is a hole on e5 and this one is not. I believe we're tending towards a position where I have more space and the better bishop. I'm anticipating that I'll end up having my knight captured on e5. I don't see a way to really conveniently maneuver this knight into this square. It'd be different if it was on d2. Could hop in and then coordinate both knights like that. So I should probably jump in now, I guess, and then be in a spot to finally flush this knight away. I basically never want to take this knight. I want to give it a boot. So let's go here now, especially now that the queen is no longer on the d file, as otherwise there could be the capture and then this, possibly. Actually, on second thought, maybe I'm okay with initiating this exchange, and then I could work on this half-open d file. A rook here, a queen here on e5 can also be good. Do I want to go for that? I think I want to give that a try. Yeah, let's give that one a go. So I want to have this opened, is what I'm saying. I'm okay with not forget about me having some space invader pawn on e5. So let's follow through with what my idea was here. And queen or pawn? I guess I'll go with the queen. Must admit, my first thought was to take towards the center. This player's going very fast. That's for sure. Threatening f4. I'll go here. I'm not really too worried about this gap right here. I mean, they may be trying for some kind of caveman stuff, but I don't believe that that's working. This rank is opened up. It'd only be 2 pieces. Easily offset. Queen could easily be challenged on h3. Rooks can defend here. Now, worth considering, I believe, now is h4. I'm going to go with h4, so I'm making some controlling moves. I don't want to see g5 and the g file open up so easily. So it's the main difference. They're going still for this kind of stuff that I just do not see working. King f2. My instincts say to go to f2 with the king, anticipating this. It's not an inconvenience if the rook doesn't play here. So how might this, yeah, so retreating. I don't want to take here. I think I may want to try and go for this break here. I don't know if I'm really gaining a whole lot. Maybe I could still keep that option opened. Begin with this, see how play develops some before I make this committal pawn advance. Okay, especially now that the rook is, you know, this kind of idea, if I get in the b5 break in an opened a file, that rook isn't going to be on the a file anymore. All right, let's try this. So it's super locked. Still pawns on both wings, and let's carry on with this. I think in the end, I should, I mean, there could be this kind of stuff happening. It seems far-fetched at the moment, but you get the queens off for starters, and then you know, only one rook on board, and that kind of trek into the queen side is not so far-fetched anymore. So rook here or here, there's no bishop move with check if I'm on an unprotected square. And that move. I may want to play here. h5. I'll go with h5. Another, am I okay with seeing g5? Let me go with h5. I could shift gears. I have more freedom of movement. If the g file opens up, I have this kind of stuff. Could be defending. My rook would be a pretty good piece on h3, exerting pressure on the isolated h6 pawn and defending g3. I think what I would like to get in are these 2 moves, or these few moves, a queen on e5. Or maybe my bishop should stay trained on this diagonal. And a queen on e5, kind of x-raying the king. I'm anticipating the king would want to shift over to the h file if the g file does open up, so maybe they could try and stack along the g file and target this g3 pawn. This is their first think. Really? So we'll see. Bishop there. I think I am okay with closing it. Or maybe let's go with this now that the pawn is unprotected. So this kind of thing is only favoring me. I'd have a connected passer. So some defensive move, maybe bishop here might be tried. I may have to babysit this pawn, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so they had to undo their last move. So I'm going to try this. Keep this still defended, and look forward to queen reposition. if the queens are off. Yeah, still this option of bringing my king here and then here is a path forward. So this is also what keeps me from going further with b6. So let's take. Oh, I'm also realizing I could take at any point and get one rook off. I may want to do that to release some pressure here. So maybe right now is a good moment for that. Yeah, you know, maybe I go for that right now. Or let's do this first. I want to make sure my rook is there. What was scaring me away from this is this move first, looking to crash through. Okay, so let's defend. The queen isn't the greatest leader. They could try this stuff. That would be a little disruptive. Could get a little tactical. All right, so let's go for this now. Get one rook off. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure anymore. Because, yeah, I think their rook is going to be pretty quick to swing over. Well, I think I still want to give this a try, though. Yeah, I have to try this, I believe. Yeah, so they could have this pawn targeted, but maybe this bishop is close to being trapped or pinned or some skewer. So let's take towards the center. I'm undoubling. And now I thought at least there should be some race to get this rook active. Should I insert this move first? No, let's make sure my rook is back to an active post. Yeah, so I'm going to go here. And I want to get here. This, and then maybe this to cut off the rook. Okay, so now I believe this earlier point I was making. All right, so maybe let me first consider rook b6. No, I'm going to go for this. And should I run in right now? The king will be able to stop me. I'll start with this one. Pawns on dark. What's the winning approach? I clearly have the better bishop. What's the winning way? Is there a win in fact here? Let's start with f4. I have to watch the clock. Under 2. So my bishop stops entry points here and here from the king. And their king is their bishop is still behind enemy lines. Let me try this way. My bishop could maybe enter like this and target the pawns from behind. Maybe this is the plan? This one? And then I come around? My bishop is only a blink away from targeting these guys. This was maybe unnecessary to put the king on h4. I'm somewhat feeling out this position. This pawn could be defended with the bishop here, but to be defending both of them, that could be tricky. Also, there is this break, and that could That's something I could still look forward to. So here, take. I can have a connected passer, and this pawn could be used as a deflector, possibly. So now that I've established this bishop post, I think I'm going to be heading towards the queen side with my king. If this move, I think I'll play here first and force them to undo their bishop c8 move. Something that would challenge my bishop like this. That's going to be too long of an idea. Something I have to be watchful of if I go for this break is that this pawn becomes passed as soon as these two are exchanged. Okay, so let me put that one on and try this. Going here, I would lose. My bishop gets trapped. My good bishop would get trapped. So let's avoid that one. So maybe they could try this. It's tricky. I really don't know. It seems so long-winded a plan. I really don't know if it's going to work. Gonna give it a go, though. Would I win the king and pawn ending? I'll have to see if I'm fast enough to get here. Okay, I don't think... Okay, they've given up on this idea. I'll be going here, because maybe... Yeah, let's go here. I don't want to see maybe this stuff happening. It's tricky. Let's see how it plays out. I like that once I'm here, I can maybe grab that tempo against the bishop. They're going very passive. Okay. Huh, I don't think I'm able to make progress. Maybe. I could get trapped again if I go in here. The king moves backwards, it's a win. Pick up this guy. They're thinking, though. This is an only move. Pawn here, I could look to target it, bring the king back over to h4. This is an only move, I'm pretty sure. Once more, I'm stuck. If I go here, I'd end up losing. Wait, Zugzwang? No, we're not quite there. Can I force that? Maybe if I could get that bishop on a wrong square for a second. I think this is a draw. "32 seconds. Is anything changing? I'm going to try to go the other way. This is risky. That was a mouse slip. I'm going to try a break. Maybe this was the way all the while. Feels like I'm getting somewhere. Where am I? It's not mouse or go too fast there. And now I'm lost. Oh, now I'm winning. Pretty sure the objective assessment there is that it's a draw. No, I think the king walking to the queen side, king side, I'm not going to win out on some tempo stuff. I think I needed to go with a timely break and get a connected pass pawn, and that would open up some new squares on the king side, possibly. Tough for me to say. Tough game. I was the side pressing, but was it enough? Not sure. All right. So that one went the distance. Final position was winning, but they did a good job there defending. All right. Game number 2. This guy's cruising 11 points already. I've got 2. So it's nice to have 10 minutes again. Let's try an e6 beginning. Let's see what we get. That is unusual. All right. Take that pawn. And I guess they're going to be playing a gambit, because how else are they grabbing that pawn back? I don't want to go here. F3, and then this pawn is going to be backward after those guys are exchanged, and I'm helping them to speed up their development. So this guy, how do I get this guy working? Oh, they're going in this way, so they're not playing it with some Black Merdemer like F3. Even if they did go with F3, this bishop feels a bit misplaced. It is supporting their center pawn and maybe making life difficult for me to strike at d4 with c5. But do I not have some time here to play b6 and bishop b7? I guess they could bring this knight here. Maybe that's their plan. I'll go with b6. I have to be a little careful here. So this move takes, queen takes. It's important that I have moves that are blocking that diagonal. So let's start with that. So I guess knight is coming to c3. Huh. Stopping bishop b4? Maybe they didn't want to see this pin and me force c3. They want to keep this square open for their king knight. Where's their king knight going to go? Here to here, c3? One of these two? What should I be doing to complete my development and also try and hang on to this pawn? Make them struggle as much as possible to hang on to that pawn. Well, I don't think I want to go to c6 with my knight. I don't think I want to play c5. This seems super sensible. Let's do it. Connecting knights, I'm keeping my c pawn free to strike. 2 pieces there. And Is now the time to strike? Maybe I could even look forward to undoubling. Is c5 the way? I actually... Maybe I like c5. What other move to consider besides c5? Some bishop move I'm not liking. e5 or c5? I'll try c5. Bishop pawn, or flank pawn attacking the center pawn. So this is how they're regaining that pawn. Alright, maybe if I take, bishop here, they could go with that. What about take, knight here? Let's start with this. I'm not really sure. I don't know if you could hear it in the audio, some kind of crazy stuff happening outside my window. Some noise. Hopefully it's not coming through. Some machinery. Okay. I guess this pawn is toast. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could have been... If my bishop was protected, could maybe have that as a trick. Maybe I could play it simply still. Queen c7, bishop e7. I don't really like that move not developing. So I'll try this. Or, let's... Let's go with a6 first. And then queen c7. This is like a last second thought. I'm thinking about a bunch of other stuff. Knight c6, knight c5, bishop c5, and then in the end this one. I want to secure my queen on c7. I'm preparing to meet this move with queen c7. And I'm also saying that I'm all right with doubled f-pawns. Maybe that's not even a thing, though, because they'd have to worry about the unprotected bishop or rook. So, chop on f6. This needs this tension needs to be addressed first. Bishop takes, queen takes. I'm on the rook. They could begin with bishop takes. I believe we're... Well, we'll see what kind of structure. Maybe I end up with the doubled f-pawns in the end and have a dark square bishop versus their knight. I'm anticipating the light square bishop exchange will occur. What can I look forward to here? What more might I be able to look forward to? Maybe a tempo against the queen. I don't know if that's really going to be an inconvenience. I didn't want to initiate an exchange here. I think we do well to... I think I do well to keep my knight simply supporting f6. I don't want to invite this knight forward. I have to be a little bit careful. So for example, this move may seem a bit weird, but it sets up knight takes knight with check, and then my bishop is ready to fall. Yeah, we'll see. I don't believe it's working in this position because I could take and then play f5. No, still the knight can move. Knight still moves with check. So I may have to do this. a good moment to think. This opponent is not as fast as my previous opponent in the early stage. What moves might white play here? Castles? Maybe they go ahead and take. I think I would like to see that. I would like to see this tension resolved. So they're going with the bishop captures first. All right. Well, now I feel a little bit more comfortable. Should there be some pressure here, putting my rook on b8, I don't have to worry about some skewer. So maybe here I play with still another knight on board. Maybe I take the pawn and make them start to question a little bit this knight. I'm gonna try this one. Yeah. Important to note, this capture can be met with king takes. Queen takes knight, queen takes, then they're winning out. Or are they? No, I don't think so. In the end, I'd be winning out. So they get my queen back, but I get this unprotected guy in g2. So if they castle now, well, I'm threatening f5 now. I have d6 covered. Important note. Don't want that. A successful knight landing in my house. I've weakened my dark squares with this capture. These two are holes, but so is this one. I think before I give the knight a boot, I want to have this pawn here, or this bishop here. Do I? Maybe give the knight a shove right now. I'm gonna give the knight a shove right now. If I played here, this move was kind of bothering me. And then if I play f5, knight here has a support point and they're threatening this. So I was referencing it earlier. I want to have this light square bishop exchange on board. So let's do that. And I want to get on this diagonal straight away. So if we have a queen exchange, would not mind seeing that. With this move, I'm also saying I'm prepared to play here because I don't want to see queen on h5. I want to stop this coordinated pressure here. Note that h6 isn't really threatening the knight. They could, I should say, they have queen h5 as a reply, and I still have to do something here. There's potentially two different threats with the queen on h5, taking here directly and exploiting the pin on my king. But I have this pawn covered in this case, but still that might be something with the follow-up of a skewer on the e-file. So what would I like to see here? That move. Because now I don't have to worry about my king as much. So now that that exchange is going to be in, maybe I play... okay, yeah, let's initiate the exchange. I was thinking about this, but maybe there's some fancy stuff. All right, and now the bishop's going to go on the long diagonal. I don't have to tend to this d6 square anymore. My king's going to be here, and I think I could expect some nice play against their queen side. This knight is negated by my pawns. Going here, it's negated by my knight. They're okay with bishop takes knight. I don't know if I even want to take it. I'm going to hold off on capturing that knight. I like my bishop. Yeah, that one. Let's go here. Defend my knight. Rook c7. Could also move my knight. This move, I have to maybe worry about that. So let's go here, or maybe rook a7. I'll go with this rook. Sure, it matters. Knight right here could maybe be a little annoying. Threatening to capture a bunch and then land in here, winning a pawn and then a fork. Let's not get too far behind on the clock. I'm back a minute. If knight a4, maybe I go to c6. Also, this move here is threatening both pawns. Let me negate any knight move here. Okay, so now I'm going to swipe this knight, so I don't have to worry about any knight jump in here. Let's damage their structure. Focus on this this pawn now. I think it's going to be 1. Okay, so if I simply move my knight, isn't this pawn going to be toast soon? Maybe I could go here first. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go here. Knight here, I could work around. Thought about knight c5 into e4 with tempo, but I want to keep these rook's eyes opened. Yeah, that move. Nice. I don't want to move that pawn though. Just move it. No, I don't want to move it. Let's go here. If knight here, I'm going to step up to f6 because this would be a threat. Knight on d4, my e6 pawn is overloaded. This is hit now a third time. I didn't play here because of this kind of move and take, and then they start targeting my a pawns. I want to keep these guys around, so I'll temporarily babysit. I want to crash through soon. I mean, maybe I play this one move later, like rook b3, maybe b5. This pawn still isn't going anywhere, so I just want to address my opponent's threats. These weaknesses are there for the long run. They should be knocked out, anticipating the win of at least a pawn. Yeah, rook takes knight. Let's not allow that. Now let's go here. Let's get out of any pins. Maybe they have to try this and hope for something fancy with the knight. But this should be winning. Knight there. There's this check. It's not really doing anything though. It's only hitting my king. One pawn. Yeah. Let's go here. This is covered. Oh, maybe they're taking my knight and then taking here. I think that's their best try, just to make it imbalanced. Not going for that. Alright, I'll save it now. And by this point, this idea I was concerned about earlier is much different. I'm expecting that I could hang on to that pawn. This knight may also be trapped. Okay, so they are going for that. Oh, I mean, I have this move too, b4. Let's go with that. Shut down this file. My knight is doing amazing things. He's a good defender. It's on a stable square, d5. Oh, they made a move. Okay. Let's go with... let's get this rook off. And I'm going to look to win that knight. They have this square, but my plan here was to take and play here. They're going to get this, but I'm going to get that. That move might have been fancy. If I took to have a push. But I think I'd still be winning, so... now I'm still up a pawn and my rook is ideally placed. My king's going to have to help, though. Let's work on my king position before pushing this. I'll give it one push. Straighten out my pawns. Oh, that was definitely necessary. Pretty sure. Okay. And I'm winning the pawn race. My king could also catch that guy if he needed to. I have mate next. Mate in a couple. Okay. 2 down. Got 4 points. There's no way I'm... look at this. Yeah, I have no interest in in berserking. I just want to play some clean games. So, all right, let's hit this d4 move head on. We got 3 or 4 more games in. Call it a day. Okay. My first impression is that this is a quiet setup. No early pressure on my best pawn with c4. I worry less about queen b3 stuff as a follow-up, and I think because of this move, my bishop can also come out and about prior to e6. What's also crossing my mind is what this guy is going to do. Now that e3 is in. Maybe similar to my earlier opponent there, keeping this option open for some stone wall. I think I'm going to begin with c5. I just don't know where I want my light square bishop yet. All right. And what? I'm going to play queen c7. I'm going to play it like I did in game 1. Yeah, so my opponent's going for this. So let's put this guy here. Here, queen c2, I could play that and then get on f5, e6, bishop f5. So I'm only going here just to make sure the bishop's out and about. And then e6. Okay, so now e6. e6. What I'm not concerned about is I was going to say these checks and putting some pressure on my knight. It could be hit at most 3 times. And I could be defending it with 3 pieces. Queen, rook, and pawn will be supporting a pawn on a knight on c6. However, there can be some in some lines. There can be queen takes a7. Well, let's begin. Let's begin with this. We'll see. Yeah, let's begin with this. Yeah, I've played positions before where I was okay with giving up the a7 pawn. If you're not picturing what I'm talking about there, the queen on a4, bishop on b5. If my rook is over here, there's queen takes a7, and my knight on c6 isn't defending a7. But that's now far too off in the... Yeah, that's just not likely to happen now that I have this move in. So I'm really happy about everything I have here right now. And they're out of that pin. Okay. This is my thought. Like I did in game 1, but my bishop initially was deployed to challenge the bishop, or be in this position to challenge, to eye up this gap, hole on e4. Bishop d6, queen g3, I can castle. Let me do this right now. Yeah. Bishop's unprotected. Something's got to give. So once more, it's the same thing as game 1. It's just flipped. Bishop here. Maybe I make an adjustment. I imagine there's going to be something different happening. Maybe it was better in that first game to have taken towards the center instead of recapturing with the queen on what square was it? C3? Yeah. Okay. So we castle to defend g7. This is unprotected, but I could protect it like this. Queen c8 to c6, c8 to e6. This is a pretty good home for the queen. If knight here isn't played right now, I could think about jumping in straight away with tempo. This queen is opposite my king. I'm in a pin, but she is not connected with any other white piece. So some one move threat here. Queen takes f5. I mean, that stuff can't really be working. I would like to play g6, but that would hang my knight. So let's follow through with this move. So here's an example of, well, if they capture my knight now, I can't take with my queen. She has a responsibility. All right, so they're going for some caveman stuff. Okay. I could consider giving the queen a kick with h6. But then when I try to kick this knight with f6, it has g6. So maybe I go in for this right now, hit the queen with the knight, and then play f6. To be a little careful. It is cavemanish, but let's see. Oh, you know what? I had this move as well to defend that pawn. Huh. All right, maybe I start with this. I think I want to play g6, not h6. G6 is still, yeah, and I still keep open the option for f6. I think I'm going to begin with this maneuver. I guess in a way I'm trying to justify the queen c8 move. But yeah, this was reasonable, I think, in defending the pawn. So if rook here, I play g6, and then I'm threatening a fork. Okay, so now I don't have to worry about stacking on the h-file. And that queen feels awfully close to being trapped now. She is way short on squares. How can I win that queen? Knight here first. Yeah, let's do the knight here first. She only has this square. No knight move with check. I play g6. I don't have to worry about knight or rook g6. If If I play here, there's then queen h6. Can I control this with something? I think I can. With my bishop. So g6 first. G6, queen h6, rook e8, and bishop f8 in reply to almost anything. Go for it. These sensitive points are covered well enough. And we go here, it's a half open file, and we're vacating f8. Also, some attempt to knight d2 here and then an in-betweener. Yeah, that's not really working. So I could take the queen and... Or, I mean, I have multiple approaches. I could simply recapture and be on the rook and queen. So, the final moment to really think, am I for sure winning material? Pretty sure. Let's do it. I mean, what am I talking about? I mean, I should really simply win the queen if this, and not be concerned about the knight. White getting a knight and pawn in exchange. I mean, I could recapture. I think it's better maybe to have the imbalance be I have my opponent's rook and they only have a pawn to show for it. So this move here is removing the defender of g5. All right, that's a move I did not expect, but that could hardly be the best way forward. Okay, so we're in the cleanup phase. I guess we'll straighten out the pawns. And all right, let's remove the knight. Yeah. I am up. Queen for a pawn. Let's break this down. Open up the F file. I'm not going to capture, though. I want my rook to be the one to recapture. Yeah, they were in pre-move mode. They were eventually going to get a tempo against my queen. I was just trying to be as precise as possible. I want that to happen. All right, and by now, could probably go in for these things, but whatever. We'll do it this way. Scoop up the F pawn with the rook. Plenty of time. I don't mind the check. Stay on the file. Mate in a couple. All right, back to tournament. Hour 3 to go. All right, c4, move 1. Let's begin with this. Did this in a recent rapid game. What's the name of it? English opening Caro-Kann defense. All right. They put some pressure on this one. I can move both knights out to good squares. Let's go with this one first. Try and offset this pressure somewhat. They're going with d3. All right. Not as aggressive with the d pawn. How do I want to set up? Probably knight there. I could put 2 pawns in the center. Okay, they're going conservative. I was just going to say maybe before I played this, I might want to insert h6 to stop this pin. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So they're allowing me to occupy the center with 2 pawns. Let's do it. knight there, so sometimes you may want to insert h6 to stop knight g5. I don't have to worry about that. But with this last move, they're keeping open the option to play f5. All right. I believe that's going to be their way forward, to strike with f5. Where do I want to put my light square bishop? I'm thinking about here. Bishop e6 or f5. Here gets chased right away. I'm thinking about this because I want to have a move in reply to f4. I'd like to meet f4 with e4, so this is a reason to maybe go here. I'm also staring at a pawn that needs support by a piece, so let me go with this. No. Maybe that's too deep an idea. Let me go with this. I need to tend to the pressure they may have on d5. I'm not sure where my dark square bishop belongs. Maybe queen here, and I look forward to bishop h3. Let me try this. This is a fast player, so to watch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to be going with f4. This or not. Okay, so this tells me they really weren't thinking about f4. So here this, here that. I mean, I get space in both cases. Oh, what they're doing is ducking the light square bishop exchange, yes. I see. All right. All right, let's start with this one. 2 pawns in the center, knights on good squares, looking to maybe play b4, I guess. How am I going to make progress? If I play here, I'm giving up this square. I'm okay with meeting b4 with a6 to stabilize my knight. There we go. And how do I make progress? All right. Yeah, they've played this before. Pretty sure. So if I start with d4, some center action, what's happening there? Don't know. Still feel like I want to play bishop h3. All right, d4, take. I'm helping out this rook. I want to sit with my center. Yeah. So now maybe queen here, or queen f5. Let's try this. Here, something on h2. I'm expecting this this stuff to happen. I'm threatening a pawn. There could be tricks here. I'm not too concerned about that though. This chop, recapture, fall up, fork. To give up this bishop. Better be getting at least some material, I would think. Okay, so they are taking action in the center, so now my rook will have definite use once on the d file. I'm pretty sure I have to start with the chop. This pawn does a good job of controlling the knight. Okay. I think this break they went for has only helped my position. Okay. I'm opposite their queen. If a knight move, this is the most sensitive square in my position. A knight move, maybe I play this first. Avoid the queen exchange, and then maybe move the bishop again and look for knight g4, moves that are, well, a move that would be threatening a mate on h2 and maybe provoking more pawn advances. There's still all pieces on board, so making multiple pawn advances in front of your king with still all pieces on board is can very often be a problem. You're kind of afforded one pawn move. It's been my experience. Okay, so now there's multiple pawn moves. So now an open diagonal, back rank, or not back rank, but second rank issues can surface. And the bishop doesn't see this as indirectly as before. So let's go here. This is a big square. I think this must be some winning position for me. I don't have any great issues to speak of. My structure stands well. I'm watching over the weakest square in my position. Good enough. I have a nice knight jump. I could look at these squares. A rook on c2 coordinates well with my knight on d2, and knight coordinates well with my knight on d4. Some more weaknesses here. I mean, sacrifices may even be around the corner. This is a big square now as well. Maybe playing queen g6. Let's think forward first. Suppose I take a step up. That's probably best. Is she going to get trapped? I don't think she's getting trapped. Let's play here. My initial thought was to play to the g file and have the pawn in a pin and then look at a pawn push, but now, I mean, I don't need to put the pawn in a pin. This move right here is going to break down the king side, and I think I'm close to putting a knight on f4, a knight on d4, a knight on f4, and it's almost like, how is there not going to be some mate or some trick for black in that environment? And those posts for the knights, they stand like they're worth 5 or more. So, I mean, I could play this one. There's maybe a reason not to make this natural looking move. Maybe I want to keep rooks on board. Don't want to subject my king to any back rank problems, and I could work with the minor pieces alone to infiltrate. So right now I'm looking at h5 to break down this. So I guess they're in a spot now to try and trade queens. I guess that's what they're looking at. But I think I want to go with this. This will also free up my queen. She'll have some new squares. Who knows? Maybe she wants to go to h8 at some point. I don't see that as something that's likely, but even after this capture, maybe I don't have to... I bet if I played this quick, they're moving their queen to e1, and then I have this stuff. Anyway, we don't want to play for tricks though. Yeah, let's get this. No, let's do this actually, because I want to take some care over this square prior to moving this knight. A knight on f6 or f4 will guard this. I'd much rather have the knight on f4. This is my main threat to win the knight. Queen g5. Super exposed king. They're in a pin. This might be the move. Only move. They're definitely in a tricky spot. Okay, knight there, trying to shield. Alright, I'll take with the knight. And then the bishop. So they gave up a pawn there. And now let's simply get this pawn back. Going here, my bishop, there's a problem there, so let's still keep my eyes open to timely checks. I've stopped these last few moves thinking about a check along this diagonal, but let's still keep that opened. That would be brutal if I could get a bishop on that diagonal. So maybe I could still take some steps to make that work. Yeah, and why not? Why not? That's maybe a good way forward. My own, my little dialogue with myself helped me think more. So there, that square's opened up. Let's hop to it. We got to check. Isn't it mate in a couple? If king here, we have check here, checkmate. So they got to go into an ugly pinoroni. And what do you do when you have your opponent in a pin? Try and pile up on that pinned piece. I don't see how I could do that. But I could improve my knight. And that's what I'm going to be looking to do, I believe. I'm on the queen. Probably have to take it. This would be covered well enough. My knight stopping the bishop from seeing e5 directly. Let's go for this. Be recapturing with the bishop. No checks against my king. I can also look at rook lifts. It's the first moment where I'm thinking about rook lifts. I've only been looking at queen moves to the g file, but what's wrong with that stuff? This maneuver. Still in a pin. This I could take, and then take the queen. The knight has no good forward moves. I guess they're going to try for that. Now queen there, so they're still in the pin. All right, let's not get too crazy here. These are all looking pretty sweet. This is a move too. So bishop g2 here, that, then this bishop is really looking sad. Let's begin with that. Yeah, they were expecting that I was going to play here, so they were in pre-move mode there. All right, they resigned. Yeah, I think the thing that was most helpful to me was when they went for the center break. I think they still need to play within the structure there. That's my sense. Okay, 2 more games should be counting. Let's get an e4 game in there. Sicilian land. All right, maybe try and open Sicilian. Bishop b5, I usually like to play. Knight c6. Knight c6 or d6, there's bishop b5, but not here. Let's try c3. Let's try to build a center, possibly. Enter a different structure, or even an ending. The bishop check with d3 is something I've played before. I'm going to give that a shot. This variation is welcome to a queenless middle game. All right, I was expecting the bishop to block. Exchange bishops and then play d3. I I should probably be playing d3 here. Yeah, I'm going to go with d3 here. This bishop's unprotected, but cannot be taken advantage of. No checks. Okay, so now I'm okay with this. Now that I have my center support, I get to keep the queens on. I could also still play with c4 and be okay with the queen exchange. But I'm gonna go with queen to e2. This is a structure I have some experience with. They're capturing, so well, that's a very big decision because the first thing that I think about is these guys now being doubled and isolated. Their friend is no longer with them. They're no longer a group. So, all right. Well, for starters, let's be recapturing. Maybe they're going for this. It's a bit tempting. I think I would have a good reply though in c4, knight c3, and on that note, maybe I should be going for that straight away. Or here first, here, this, that. I don't like the knight getting into this square. Maybe I clamp down on this structure straight away. Or first ensure that this pawn doesn't even have the possibility to move. What's keeping me from playing c4 right now is a possible pawn sacrifice. e5 takes, queen e7. Knight moves, they get e4. Maybe it's okay to play this one first and not rush straight away with c4 next. I will go with c4. Even, here's the thing, actually, now that these pawns are doubled and isolated, even if there is some path out like that, I could still control it. If e5 was played, I'd look into h3, maybe more than even the capture. All right. Also something that could be in the very distant future for black when they have these two pawns here is some exchange sacrifice, putting the rook there. It's my weakest square, so to control it with two pawns and drop something there, drop a major in there is usually a thing. So let's follow through with this move right now. So the steps I'm taking right now with these pawn advances are aimed at what exactly? Most directly, this move is threatening the knight, but long term, I'm looking to control this guy. What's the bishop's way out and about? This knight belongs here, and ideally would like to be right behind the pawn. What is black's only active plan? f6. But even when that's played, these weaknesses are super duper troublesome for black. So I could castle and even allow f6, take, rook would have to recap. No, the knight could recapture and they could defend like that. But that's opening up this e5 square for my knight. Yeah, I don't need a pawn right here. A knight right here, a stable piece that can't be shooed away by a pawn, is also controlling that light square bishop. So this is a very under control position. The superior structure for white here. They are going for f6, so I think I want to go ahead and chop. Yeah, let's take. Knight takes is what I'm expecting. And now I should probably jump on in. Let's consider for a second. Bishop f4? No, let's put the knight right here straight away. Bishop f4, there may be this. Okay, so they're defending this pawn, but this is a classic case of tall pawn syndrome. That guy. And this is unprotected. Maybe some smothered mate could be nearby. I would like to Complete development. Bishop to g3. And bishop on g3. I'll go bishop to g5. I wouldn't mind a dark square bishop exchange. Yeah, that would increase the quality of this knight, or this knight on e5. I'm cool with almost any exchange that doesn't allow this guy to be exchanged. I want to play against this guy. As long as this guy's around, I think it's bad news for black. It's bad structurally, and this piece is an issue. And it's easy to fall into this structure, and just right out of the gate, the first few moves. Problematic. So right now, I feel like I'm close to winning something, taking advantage of a pin. I got this square too. Not noticing it until right now. As soon as they played h6, I could have been noting that. So taking here and then knight here. And winning the exchange. Is there better? Rook here. Bishop takes, rook takes here. Queen here. And then knight here. There may play queen there. Let's do something simple. There's a lot of appealing variations right there. I'll go in for the exchange. I'm going to put the a rook on the e file and keep open the option to play f4, f5. Open more lines. You know, to win these events, you definitely have to make use of the berserk feature. In fact, I may want to play f4 first. F4 first. There's a queen check here. Let's start with this one. Knight e4. Okay. So even here, maybe f4. Time. Let's go with this. Just looking to get the queens off. Queen here. Yeah, this is definitely not the best approach that I'm taking here. Definitely not. I mean, there was a much cleaner approach. All right, so the rook is defended, so no rook takes here is working. All right, let's go here. G5 only move, G3, knight F6, rook E5 hits this. Yeah, let's go here. Maybe that. All right, they're in a pin here. Feels like I don't need to take that pawn. Let's see, knight E4. Knight E4 takes, king takes. There's a check maybe, but rook here or here. puts them in a pin one way or the other. Eventually I get my rook 3 pieces attacking here, so I'm not going to recapture. I'm going to work on the pin. And very important that knight g4 isn't here right now. That's illegal. So king here, that. King here, this. King here, that. One way or the other, this knight's going to still stay in a pin. I should be winning this knight outright and be up a rook for 2 pawns. That should be the imbalance in just a few. Two connected passers. Just won't be enough. This is a non-factor still. All right, let's follow through with this check. Rook here, I could exchange and then take here. So here we are. I'm on a dark and still not, I don't have anything to fear here with the pin or anything. All right. Could win even more material now, I guess. I'll take the knight with the knight. King here, it's a mate in 2. And king here walks into discovery. Feel like there should be a mate, though. 1 minute. Is there a mate? I'm not seeing the mate. I could win the exchange. King g7, check. Now, what am I talking about the exchange? I could take the rook straight away. It's not the exchange. I'm getting the full rook. Plenty of time. All right, that one. I guess we'll take with the rook. Stops this bishop from even going anywhere. All right, we should be giving mate soon. I'll go with this rook. So after this, we'll have this, and then that for mate. All right. Take care. That's the ball game. Okay. As mentioned, easy to fall into that not so great structure, and the rest kind of plays itself out. You try to do something active, like with that f6 move, and you open up some new weaknesses that are exploitable. That e5 square in particular. All right, let's go with c6 here. Staying away from the Sicilian in this tournament. I play e6 earlier. The second game. e6 and now c6. This will be the last one that probably counts for the tournament. All right, so an advanced Caro-Kann. Now let's see if they play h4. No h4. So I'm almost always happy to see this exchange. So that's my bad bishop being exchanged for their good bishop. I want to make sure e6 is in before there's any possibility of them breaking down my structure. Pawn sacrifice, e6 is pretty typical. White has the option. All right, so if I play here, I have to do this at some point. Let's get it in right now. Here, check right away. I have a queen here. Here, takes and then check. I have to play this, and then queen takes pawn. But then I could take on e5. So the timing is all right. I believe, for c5. All right, so now we make sure we get our knight here. Sometimes, now that the light square, with this variation, sometimes there's the possibility of a check and then queen here with the knight still on its home square, but this is always a way for white to keep the queens on and be able to get castled, deploying the knight on e2 rather than f3. Otherwise, this is a pretty neat maneuver and almost always a welcome sight. Excuse me, a welcome sight for a Caro-Kann player who usually prefers to play endings in slower positions, and I kind of fall into that description. All right, so now I have c5 in. A question of, should I initiate the capture and allow this knight to get to c3 so easily? Or can I wait a move? If I play rook c8, I'm giving up any possibility of castling queenside. I don't know how realistic that is to go queenside. I could make a somewhat useful looking move, queen here. I don't think it's getting in the way of my minors. Let's start with queen d7. Seems kind of natural to put the queen on b6, where it keeps up this pressure on d4, but I'm not really foreseeing the d4 square as something I can, by applying pressure to d4, I'm not really seeing that as generating an inconvenience to white. Now with this move, after I take, if they're restoring that pawn with a pawn, which they have to do, now that b5 square is looking really juicy. So I'm going to initiate the capture now. Maybe if I didn't do that straight away, maybe they take and then do some expansion on the queen side, deploy the bishop here, look for c4. So it's turned static. I have a b4 square at least. This knight's going to have to pivot here at some stage, so let's get that one in there. And it'll have a decision. f5 is pretty reasonable. That's my my first thought. Put the knight on f5. And yeah, now that this pawn is here, I'm thinking a little less about maybe putting the knight on b6. This was another reason to stay off of that b6 square. Bit down the road, that idea. But okay, let's put the knight on f5. So no light square bishop. And I have my knights on two light squares. The only two light squares that are on the key 16 squares in the center. So pressure here, restriction on the queen and their queen and knight. The knight on b5 really shouldn't be a bother. If this move is in, I mean, that is a possibility. I could maybe play this. This move crossed my mind prior to knight f5. All right, they're going with that one. Maybe I do go with this h5. To secure my knight. To secure my knight or not? I'm going to secure my knight. g5 is weakened with that move, but what can you do? There's that little give and take there. I would really like to have my bishop on this square already, but can't have it all. Thinking more about securing my knight. All right, so let's get this guy in here. Maybe I should have been playing a6 sooner. Maybe they're trying for this. I don't have knight a5 as a reply, that bishop. That's also supporting this advance. This is interesting play. This is defended a lot. Maybe I need to give up a square on b5. Maybe I play this. I do not like giving that square up for a knight, though. Castles, b4, rook c8, b5, and then I drop my knight to d8. I guess that's what we're going to go for. This rook here so that I could stay coordinated. My knight's kind of stupid, though. d8. I don't know. This is an interesting setup, what they're doing there. I haven't seen this one before. I usually find that I have a much easier time. Opponent gives up their light square, an early light square bishop exchange like this, but this feels a little different. Maybe important to flick this move in first. I'd like to get into this square. Let's go here. This feels too weird, playing this one, b5, and then that. I think the position needs to open up somewhat on the queen side, so I'm going to welcome an exchange. And I'm looking at this maneuver, knight a7, c8, b6, c4. That's a lot of moves, but that is their weakest square. And if I could get there, that would be great. Also, there can sometimes, if there was some pressure here, let's say their knight was on c3 and my queen wasn't supporting this, there are these tricks. I've fallen for that one too many times, in bullet primarily. So this is my plan. They play b5, take once, knight a7. And it's important that I'm able to move my... Okay, so they're challenging my knight. I was going to say it's important I'm able to move my knight quickly. Get out of some potential pin if the a file opens up. All right, so I don't think I have too much to consider here. I have to take here. They were on my knight and pawn, so now... let's go with this one. This is unprotected. I don't see double attacks, though. Queen to one of those two. G6, maybe h4. No, I don't like h4. Take. Here, g3, king g2, rook there. I have to watch out for that. Maybe an important detail, especially if it was a bit more closed. Okay, that's giving up this square right here. That's unexpected. Very unexpected. Huh. Okay, let's put this knight here. So, that's a really big decision. Pawns on dark, bishop on dark. My knight also strikes a d4 from b5 and stays out of the way of my rook on this only open c-file. Yeah, this note about pressure here, to push or to defend, I think I could really be expediting this maneuver of a rook getting to the h-file if I play h4. So they're going, oh, maybe just as a pawn sacrifice they're doing it. Huh. All right, well, I'm going to take it. Yeah, I'm going to take it. Be careful of my king. Are they going for g3, king g2, rook h1? I would like to get both rooks off. I'm fearing for my king a little bit because of this pawn on e5. The knight doesn't have its favorite square, so yes, this is what they're going with. All right, but All right, what about this queen move? Look to infiltrate with the queen. I would like a queen exchange. So queen here, or if queen takes pawn queen here, I might be winning a piece. I think I'd be winning a piece if queen takes pawn. So knight here, moving to the right. My king doesn't mind seeing that. Both under 5. Back on the clock as usual. Me. Knight here. Queen here. Yeah, I'm not seeing my king being attacked. Having this possibility of my queen helping out. I already have a bishop. Maybe in some cases my knight could get to f5. It seems a bit far-fetched. If either of these rooks is to somehow get on the h file. Okay, am I not winning after queen here? Queen e3, queen d1. Bishop h6 is maybe a move. All right, we still should be going here. Bishop h6, I have this, I have that. Oh, actually this wins. Oh, that's a slick move. Here, queen h7, I'm threatening the bishop, and I'm still on that. They'd have to retreat their bishop, then I get the knight. Queen could win a piece real quick on c2 and then come back to defend. Yeah, this has turned quite a bit. My pieces started to find good squares as soon as a6 was in. One little square right here, b5, made a world of difference. This possibility never even was crossing my mind. This made more sense to flush my knight back at least and have some pawns on light and open up the b4 square for multiple pieces. And they're going into the tank here. It is a tough spot. Not sure what they should do. I guess queen has to go back home. It's the only move I'm seeing. Yep, they see it. And now we dropped the knight in, I guess. Oh, is this a move? Wow. Wow, knight there isn't even working. There's some crazy perpetual against my king? Or my queen, excuse me. Wow, rook h3. Is that really a move? And some perpetual attack against my queen. What? Oh no, what am I talking about? My knight is covering a3. Oh, I thought this, and then wherever my queen goes, she's gonna be attacked. Okay, queen's unprotected. No bishop move with check. Oh, wow. That would have been incredible. So I have this square, intersection square right here. I'm threatening to win a pawn. Maybe this. Now I exchange queens and then win the knight. Am I going to win this pawn? Let's say g3 here, and then that. Okay, knight there. But now we take here for sure. Pretty sure we're improving the knight. We're within check. We're within checking range. Knight e2, and then maybe this kind of mate. That's the big one. Okay. Yeah, so this one and then that. Or they'd have to walk into a discovery and I could get their queen. All right, so still here. I could get the bishop. Why not get the bishop? They might be trying something sneaky here. Knight takes here with this. But I have a knight move with check and I get to recapture with the queen. Or no, actually, still maybe knight e2. We'll see what they come up with. I'm up a miner and a pawn right now. I have a check on c1 as well. Connected passer. Okay. Let's go here. Welcome some exchanges. Giving up a pawn just to be able to get the queens off. Queen takes f2 crossed my mind as well. It's on the dark now. Bishop might be doing something exciting shortly. Rook here isn't a problem. Queen takes. Checks on h4. Let's recapture. They're on my rook after they take my pawn. Queen on this square. Queen on e6. Defend everything. Should I get the rooks off? King here, I have queen g5. Let's go with this one. I think they're going to lose on time. Now I could improve the rook. And let's run it like this. Queen takes here. I'm on the rook. I could back off like this. Or king here. Let's go king here. Yeah, they missed that I'm on the rook. All right, they resigned. That maneuver, knight a3 to c2, was really something. It was even in a spot to maybe go to e3 and have that knight challenge my knight instead of knight g3. Wow. Saw some things in that game I hadn't seen before. So one more game in all likelihood. And it probably won't count. Just out of page 1. 41 for first. Berserk streak for that guy. 91% berserk. Okay, let's see what we get. Somebody, anybody? There we go. Let's get a d4 game in. Ooh, okay. Dutch. We're going to have another weakness created on this square. I've seen that already in a couple from both sides. Okay. I got my little duo in, I'm happy. Do I want my bishop out and about? Normally I like going for that. But I like this move too, it's solid. So with this, I need to be prepared to activate my bishop somewhere here. B4 is a move I've played around with before. Some space, looking forward to c5, fianchetto, trying to extract the maximum, I guess, more than just vacating b2. Let's give it a try. With b4, I need to be prepared to meet this move with b5. Okay. And now, if I need to be prepared to meet a5 with b5. And now that c6 is in, if a5 is played and I play b5, I'm saying that I'm okay with taking away from the center, but that's giving up this big square on d5 that 3 of their minor pieces can operate on. I need to take some care over d5. I may have to go with another pawn move. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. It seems a little crazy looking. I'm just throwing a bunch of pawns out here on the queen side, but this, take, and I still have control over this. All right. And now, their best piece is that guy on g7. I want to make sure it's tamed. I'm going to go with this. Not sure where this guy belongs. Queen, maybe to b3? I don't know. If this move, I have this, they may want to take a step to secure some bishop move. I think I want to defend my bishop right now on this next move. Right now. Here. I'm going to go here. Here, I don't know, maybe this and then this kind of stuff. I'm in a pin. Still all minor pieces are on board. Going to the second rank on the queen. Less accessible to these guys. Not that one. Anything but the dark square bishop. So I'm doing this move right now to defend my bishop against this break. e5 takes. Let's say if I play bishop e2 instead of this, there would be e5. And after takes, there's this as a possibility. That move. Should I have played queen b3? Tell you what. Maybe I take a second step with my queen and be all right. Yeah, I guess I'll go with this. I'm making a second move with my queen, I realize. I should have played queen b3 straight away. They can now work in on this b4 square. We'll see how play develops. c5 may be a move now. This move with this idea that I was expressing before is the knight would be hanging in these variations. I could have also played b5 straight away, but I believe the knight would jump in there and then still be glued in with c5. So I think so far black is doing all right, and there's a way forward to capitalize on the weakness I have created on the queen side. Yeah, I think this is the consistent follow-up. I gotta make a decision here. It seems as if I'm gonna have to be working around a knight on b4. I'm not too excited about that. So chop, b5, knight b4, and then bishop to e2. All right, I think that's just how it's gonna be. Or do I push straight away and still keep this tension? Big moment. Take or not? All right, time. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. I don't like opening up so many squares for the queen. Not that she could go to a ton of them along the d file, but still. Keep this tension as is. I'm surprised they haven't dived into b5 yet. Oh, they're maybe considering queen a5 first. That's something, yeah. Could see that one. Bishop block, the knight could still go in there. Yeah, that's what that's what they must be considering. Either knight here or queen to a5. Ten moves in, I'm pretty sure it's a unique position. It's probably unique after move 7 or 8. Move 8, knight a6. That's where it's almost certainly unique. All right, so let's... Do I play a5? To stop any queen a5 stuff? Stop this as well for the moment? Another pawn move? How many pawn moves can I get away with? I better get a move in to get castled. Yeah, it's starting to concern me, this kind of move and then bishop here. Yikes. Coordinating with that knight that I cannot easily get rid of. If this move is played, I almost don't even want to take. I feel like I'm worse here. This was too much. This pawn play on the queen side. Yeah, that one. So if I take, I gotta take with the pawn. Maybe now is the time to capture. Castle first, castle first. Still keep the option open to push. Those knights are controlling these four. Let's get castled. Man, I'm anticipating a dark square bishop exchange. Can't do this. That would hang the knight. I could play this move. Challenge this guy. How do I ever get rid of this knight? I really don't know. I think I have to hope that they aren't able to successfully coordinate with the knight on these two. That could sometimes be the case. The knight is in a weak square in your house on the queen side, and you're able to work around it. You have these squares covered conveniently, like, say, a rook on d2 as things are more simplified, controlling the knight and still activated along some open file. They're thinking, at least. That's good. Gives me some time to think. Also, knight c3. Knight c3, rook d1. I think if... Okay, yeah, they're going with f4. I think they're playing this well. Now must be the time to initiate the exchange, I'm guessing. Yeah, let's do it. Gonna get the dark square bishop exchange in. I mean, I could end up with this isolated pawn for sure on e3, but I don't know. There's some weak squares in black's position. There'd be a weak pawn on e7. There are many imbalances to still be weighing here. So if they recapture, okay, I was going to initiate the exchange and then play queen to b2, so we're likely just transposing. This knight is unprotected with that last move, with that f4 move. So maybe I could get away with... Yeah, no, not really. Okay, let's go with this one. Suppose I take... No, I gotta go fast. 4 minutes. Alright, I have the slightly safer king. I'll still have these 2 pawns. There's this open diagonal, 2 open diagonals. This one isn't so open towards my king. Well, no, okay, these offset, but the fact that this long diagonal is opened up could be a problem. Like, maybe I could think about putting a knight on h6 for mate. Is there some maneuver that would get me there? I'm on this guy. First things first. Knight d3 could be a move. Or maybe not. Knight d3, queen c2. Hold my ground for a second. Don't invite the queen here. A queen on e5. That would be hitting a lot of stuff. So that was a thought that crossed my mind before knight c3. Take, queen here. Okay, retreating with the knight. But now this guy right here, can I not challenge that? Knight d5? Or even e4 is a possibility. Bishop g4 I don't like. Put the knight in a pin for starters. I guess we'll try this one. Still being okay with an isolated pawn here. Don't want this knight getting in here too easily. So yeah, how I was pointing out, maybe controlling the knight. This knight, it could turn out it's out of play. Still though, I think I want to get rid of it. A knight on d5. Knight d5. Is now the time for this? I think so. Knight d5. I think, yeah. I recapture with the rook, and I'm on a pawn. I guess we'll go for this. b3. Bishop right here. Okay, queen here. Maybe I take first and then queen here. Tricky, tricky, tricky. A knight. Oh, remember? Knight on h6. Remember? Let's try this one. Don't know how great it is. I'm going to try this, this little... I have a trick up my sleeve, I think. So this one right here is pretty common. Bishop here might have won a pawn too, but this was my idea. To go here for starters. And I have this nearby as a resource, threatening a mate in 1. Knight on h6. This is covered with my knight. Get this bishop here. That can be problematic. Ginger Toddler from... we don't know. Okay, so they're just taking... here, right now. Knight g4. h5. Not seeing the follow-up. They might be capturing here first and then here. Get a connected passer, but I feel like there must be something for me there. With my knight, rook on f3 and queen, and this guy's still not playing. Okay, there. Okay. I'm going to go for this. Mate in 1. Maybe this and then here is an idea. This, check king here. I'm not seeing a follow-up. This, I'd like to take here and then maybe here, but with my knight on e5, they're counterattacking my knight. So I'm threatening mate and getting out of that variation where there's maybe a way to get the material back. Okay, so they're taking like that, but wait. Mate in 2. Knight h6, king f8, and queen h8 is mate. What am I missing? Knight h6, king f8, queen h8 mate. They missed the knight h6 move. Whew. Tough game. What they were doing there with knight a6 and c5, consistent follow-up. Carving that square out. Making sure queen corner pocket. That's the winner. Okay. Finished. That one didn't count for the game. 372 in there. Finished with 20. Page 1. This guy had a nice tournament, 92% berserk rate. It's impressive. 2540 performance with a 92% berserk rate is awesome. 51 points. Nowhere close to that. Okay, let's throw a good games all in there. All right. Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. This is a first for me to be playing in a rapid arena, doing a local record like this, not streaming. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Maybe took a thing or two away. All right, that's all for now. Take care.